All right, so I was on vacation with my parents and with Kristen and Nick, who had just recently got married. We were in Georgia. We were just kind of hanging out. We were just at a cabin, and there was an awesome lake that was nearby. And so we rented a boat. And so we take this boat, and we're just riding around the boat, and we had a tube. And the tube, have you ever seen like a tube? But it was shaped like a taco, kind of. It's like taco-ish shaped. It was flat in the middle, and it kind of folded on the two sides. So you could kind of maneuver on it. And so we would take this tube and go behind the boat, and we would go tubing behind the boat. What's cool about the tube is it held two people. And so we would trade off on who would get on the boat, on the tube and everything. You could do two different strategies on the tube. You can either try to knock the other person off to help yourself a little bit, or you can kind of work together as a team and maneuver as you're flying this way. We both can be leaning this way, and as you're flying the other way, you can lean away from it. We found out that if you work together, you have a very much a higher chance of surviving and staying on the tube for as long as you can. So one of the trips that happened was me and Nick, and we're laying on the tube. We're grabbing onto our tube, and I look over to Nick, and then Nick looks back over at me, and he says, "Man, my shorts are a little loose," right? And that's not what you want to hear as you're just about to take off in a wild ride with Pastor Jerry driving the boat, right? So we start getting on, we're hitting the bumps, we're flying, we're doing so good as we're going this way, we're leaning, and he's having a super hard time at knocking us off, right? We hit some waves, we get some height, then all of the sudden, I look over and I see Nick's swim shorts go from his waist, and then all of a sudden, I see them jump down just a little bit, and I'm like, uh-oh. And Nick, at this point, we are still going at a fast pace. We're still flying around, hitting air. Nick can't reach out to pull his pants back up, right? And so, what do? He just kept hanging on, right? So, they're not off, right? But they're kind of hanging down a little bit. And then, guess what? We hit another bump. Now they're down to the bottom of his legs, right at his knees, right? And then we hit another bump, and now they're at his ankles. Luckily, though, he had some underwear on, so it wasn't that bad. And then all of a sudden, his swimsuit just flies off into the distance. And I was like, well... and at this point, I'm like, all right, dude, you might want to let go, But Nick, he wasn't having it. He was not letting go. So we kept riding, we kept going, and all of a sudden, the most terrible thing that could happen happened. Nick's boxers that he was wearing go, and they are starting to slide. And I'm seeing more of Nick than I ever want to see in my life, right? And I look over and I'm like, Nick, you gotta let go. And then his underwear is slipping even more. Now they're down to his mid-thighs. And then now they're down to his knees. And then now they're down to his ankles. I'm singing Frozen to him. Let it go. Right? I'm literally singing Frozen to him. And then it gets down to his ankles. And I'm like, oh... I'm going to let go just so the boat stops, right? And so just as his underwear was about to fly completely off, he mid-style grabs the underwear in the air. So he didn't lose his underwear. And then he fell off, and then I decided to hold on a little bit so I could have some distance from him as he's rearranging his underwear. And luckily for him, he caught his underwear and was able to put them back on, because that would have been the most awkward boat ride back to the cabin because they were newly married, and we would have saw more of Nick than we ever wanted to see. So that is kind of a funny story. Actually, what's cool is we took the boat and we found his bathing suit because I had a little bubble in the bathing suit, and so he got even his bathing suit back. So I guess the moral of the story is that sometimes in life we want to hold on to the things that we feel like are best for us. I want to do well in life. I want to do my best. I want to work hard. I want to reach my goals the best. But sometimes the best thing that we can do is to let go and let God. So you let go and you let God solve your problems. So are you holding on to your tube while you're tubing on the lake? In life, are you still holding on to trying to do your best, trying to reach your goals by yourself? Because I think sometimes we need to let go and let God take control. Because God cares about us so much. And if we let go and we start doing what God tells us to do, then our lives will be so much better. Thank you guys for watching this. I hope you guys have a great rest of the week. Next week we'll have another leader give a message next Thursday, so stay tuned for that. Have a great day. See you guys.